The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted societal concerns, including food insecurity, inequities in education, and the digital divide.
I think what COVID really did was, really highlight that poverty is the core root of so many issues facing our communities, especially communities of color. And when you look at who was impacted the most by COVID, in many ways, it was communities of color.
It also moved nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan and the Downtown Boxing Gym into emergency fundraising mode.
In a crisis like this, we saw that people were really stretching themselves and during a really scary time for their company or their own personal finances, right? Nobody knew what this was going to look like a year later.
In this third and final edition of our Lessons Learned podcast, we're talking about nonprofit fundraising during a crisis. Hello, I'm Terry Whitfield, a program officer for the Skillman Foundation. Let's welcome back Jessica Hauser, Executive Director of the Downtown Boxing Gym, and Sean Wilson, CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan, to share their insights on what has been a challenging and unprecedented time.
From the beginning, it caused a $2 million gap in our budget because of event revenue coming in. But we already knew as an organization that was an Achilles heel, that was an issue that we relied so heavily on event revenue. So for the past couple of years, we are already looking at an opportunity to diversify funding streams. And so I think COVID just really underscored that. I think it also underscored the importance of cultivating and having an ongoing, authentic and real relationships with your donors, because it really allowed for us to have some very direct and meaningful conversations on what we needed and what they could do to help support the organization. And without having that kind of direct and transparent relationship, I think those could have been some tougher conversations to have.
Both Downtown Boxing Gym and Boys and Girls Club rely solely on donations, and the beginning of the pandemic, they were not free-flowing. At the time we had to triple our budgets and do all that stuff. It was really nerve-wracking. Dollars have begun to loosen up a bit more. It's huge to make sure that you have some sort of rainy day fund so that you're never in a position where if things go sideways that you might have to shut your doors. And again, that is a luxury to be able to have that. I think obviously fundraising is all about relationships, but the more you focus on relationships, the better off, because in a crisis like this, we saw that people were really stretching themselves and during a really scary time for their company or their own personal finances, right? Nobody knew what this was going to look like a year later. And the fact that people still gave generously because there's a deep relationship, because they see the importance of the work for both organizations, that just speaks volumes to the fact that fundraising should not be transactional, that it really has to be relationship-based.
We fared well, with all things being said, because we stayed mission focused. We continued to kind of take what the environment gave us and just stay focused on serving our youth, which then means that we were one of the organizations that when companies and foundations were looking to quickly have an impact on the community, they kind of turned to us, right? So along with other organizations like Downtown Boxing Gym. So to me, the lessons learned in it is develop ongoing communication with your donors, be transparent, and ultimately stay mission driven and mission focused.
We're so proud of our team. We're so proud of our kids. We're so proud of our families. So proud of our relationship with Boys and Girls Club and everything they've been doing at a time that everyone could have just pulled back and said, it's scary, right? I'm not gonna do anything. The fact that everybody leaned in and everybody doubled down on the commitment to the organizations, the commitment to themselves to make sure that they were doing all their schoolwork, doing all the, doing everything they could to get through this year successfully is just, it's incredible to have witnessed. It's, I'm just really, really proud how funders showed up, how, just that we all rallied and made sure we had each other's back was a beautiful thing.
Thank you, Jessica and Sean, for sharing your insights from the front lines. You continue to work tirelessly along with your teams to help young people succeed, and for that, our entire community is truly grateful. We know that fundraising and all the challenges COVID-19 brought to the forefront are still ongoing. So if you'd like to help out, visit dbgdetroit.org for the Downtown Boxing Gym and BGCSM.org for Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan. This podcast is sponsored by the Skillman Foundation. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, please visit skillman.org. We hope this 3-part series has been eye-opening and informative. Our goal was to share these important lessons learned during the COVID-19 crisis so that others can learn and make decisions based on the observations and best practices we've talked about. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Terry Whitfield, and have a great day.